Hi guys, Jamie from the tribe. I am just going to be going over a bit about strength training and why it's for everybody, and particularly why it's for females, and why we feel too that it is the key to long-lasting results. And also, I guess, looking at some of the stigmas that exist around lifting weights as well. So what we're going to go over is resistance training and what it is, some of those myths around why particularly females feel like they don't want to lift weights, why it's important and its benefits, where to start from and how we cater to the varying goals that people have, the importance of structure in training, nutrition as well, and also where cardio fits into the equation and general energy expenditure, and any steps that you can take moving forward too. So I've shared this picture before and I'm going to share it again because I feel like sometimes we could get a bit ahead of ourselves. So just again, bringing it back to basics and just starting with a basic physical activity program. So resistance training or strength training involves the performance of physical exercise which are designed to improve strength and endurance. It's often associated with the use of lifting weights. So it can also incorporate, depending on performance in sports and things like that, other techniques like calisthenics, isometrics, and plyometrics. So we like to add that progressive overload and structural balance through a program is important to reap the benefits or the full benefits of resistance training as well. And also what challenges you, changes you. So keeping that in mind when it comes to exercises, what you find challenging is most likely the type of training that's going to bring you the most reward. So talking about the stigma around strength training for or lifting weights, I guess for anybody, but mostly for females. The main one is that lifting weights makes you bulky. And I'm just going to go through why this is not true. So most people aren't consuming the amount of healthy food it takes to build a large amount of muscle, especially protein, unless this is their sole focus. Like if they're a bodybuilder or a power lifter, or in a specific sport, where they are further advanced into the training program. But for the everyday person, it's a challenge. So it's possible to put on muscle mass, but just perhaps not the amount that the media portrays at times. So you might see an extreme of a female bodybuilder who might be taking steroids or testosterone and other things to help put on that muscle mass. That's not the everyday person. So bringing it back to somebody like myself that trains strength training 4 days a week, and I guess how that causes me to look and what I need to put into putting on that muscle mass. So above 30 years of age, bone density and muscle begin to decline naturally, and as women near menopausal age, their hormones also start to change. This slows their metabolism and they start to naturally lose muscle. So go into more of a catabolic, have an atrophy kind of effect in terms of that muscle. So people start to become frail, and then it becomes even more important to lift weights to help to minimize those impacts. So we're sure most people have felt this within their bodies as they age. So compared to perhaps how you could eat or what you needed to do when you were a teenager in your early 20s to perhaps nearing the age of 30 and how that changed. So women do not naturally hold high levels of testosterone or the amounts that they need to get bulky and muscle. In terms of males also, they can struggle to put on size too. So what can happen sometimes is that we can put on fat mass as well when we're putting on muscle mass if we're not looking after our nutrition. So both will be increasing simultaneously. So yeah, if we are looking after our nutrition, this is a really important part of complementing a weights training program or a strength training program to ensure that fat is lost as well. And actually what toning is, which is a lot of what females want, is increasing muscle mass while decreasing body fat. So that's a body composition change. And it does take a bit more of looking at all the different factors that come into that to be able to achieve it. So why this type of training is important. So this is page 1 of 2 because there are many. So it's important for any type of goal, like I've already mentioned, it increased bone density. So that gives you less chance of breaking bones, which means that you're getting more out of life if you're not having to worry about stopping to repair your body. It increases muscle mass, which helps to increase your basal metabolic rate or your natural metabolic rate at bed rest. And it helps with the afterburn as well. So you're burning calories in your workout and after, which continues to help us burn fat. It helps us to maintain muscle tone and to have fat loss. So we're less likely to fluctuate in terms of our body weight and our body composition. So it helps to break that yo-yo effect that we can go through with dieting and training sometimes, which is longevity and everything else that comes with it, especially as we are nearing 30 years of age or above. It increased strength in everyday life and injury prevention because we're building all the ligaments and the muscles that help our posture and to move about freely. It contributes to better immunity and health. It burns energy during and after, which I already mentioned. And with a program structure, building a solid foundation with muscular balance is great for posture, especially when we're doing so much sitting in our everyday life, especially for office workers. So page 2 of this, a healthy mentality around exercise and personal goals. So eating to nourish and perform, which moves people away from the old fad of under eating and focusing on scales, and feeling like they constantly need to be dieting and restricting and in a calorie deficit. So it's more towards increasing strength, movement, and technicality. So it shifts that focus away to more of the mastery of the movements. It builds confidence. You look better naked, not just with clothes on. It gives better sleep, which can help our body recover more and all the great things that come from sleep, because that is a game changer. It helps us stress release and provides us with those endorphins that we love. And when we exercise, we naturally want to become more active and eat better. So the benefits go on, especially the ones of training in this type of environment. So in terms of varying goals, there are many different things we can consider when it comes to how to apply strength training to the individual to help them achieve their results. But we like to keep this as simple as possible. So if you're not familiar with strength training, definitely invest in somebody who knows what they're doing, because the less you have to think about it, the more you can actually just enjoy what you're doing. We know it's beneficial for everyone. And, you know, whether the goals are to get stronger, to put on muscle, to lose body fat, to lose a lot of weight, you know, for everyday life, for health benefits, for mental health, for energy levels, it covers all of those things. So that's why it's a great foundation. And we love that in our sessions, we can coach closely to adapt the program to suit the individual needs. And I'll also go through the body types as well and what is ideal for your body type in terms of training. So we reinforce the importance of a structured program, which we offer in small group personal training, one-on-one and online training programs across the week, incorporating all the muscle groups within the body with a ratio to achieve balance so that nothing's missed. We always start with compound movements like squat, bench press, and deadlift, which are real bang for buck full body movements. They really get your heart rate up and set the tone for your session. And then we incorporate those bodybuilding or muscle hypertrophy movements to ensure that we're, you know, carrying on and adding to those compounds to get stronger all round. And we track training through the app. So clients track their workouts, and all their numbers are set for them so that they're always progressively overloading and, challenging themselves so that their body isn't just adapting and plateauing. So nutrition is an important part. And this is, I guess, where it comes back to that myth around training makes you bulky. Sometimes you can look a bit bulky if you're putting on muscle, and you're also putting on body fat if you're not looking after your nutrition. So we love that it's a healthy focus around fueling your body for performance, energy levels, better recovery through your nutrition. It's less about starving ourselves and things like that, which can actually slow our metabolism and cause muscle wastage over time and plateaus and rebounds. But in order to build that muscle and to get the positive body composition changes, we do need to be eating enough protein and enough food in general, and more of the whole foods, less processed foods. So just keeping it simple and tracking to bring awareness to food and what we're putting into our bodies goes a long way. So we don't disregard cardio or conditioning. It's still a part of our training program, and it may be more for certain people and their goals and less for others, just depending. But I guess why we don't lead with it as a foundation is that our body's ability to adapt to cardio is fast, which leaves us less room to continue to improve if we're slogging in our workouts constantly, especially through running and biking and doing things where it's like a steady state form of cardio over an endurance period of time, which can lead to decreased muscle mass and body mass. So we more incorporate high intensity interval training, which makes it harder for our bodies to adapt. But if this was our sole focus, then there's too many variables. It's always changing. So it's really hard to actually measure progress. And you may be overdoing certain movement patterns, which can be challenging to recover and can lead to injury, especially through joints. So we incorporate conditioning at the end of some of our sessions, and we have sole days that are more committed to conditioning, which we measure and track. But we try not to vary things too much in order to still be able to see the progress there and get the benefits. But it is important for cardiovascular health, especially if we have more body fat to lose, and it's great to mix up the stimulus of training. So you'll get results if you're increasing your energy expenditure and paying more attention to your nutrition in terms of energy out versus energy in. Resistance training burns more calories in the sessions and after, increasing your muscle mass, decreasing your body fat, which means that you'll burn more calories at rest. So training for your body types. So body types can play a part depending on, a few physical factors, I guess. This is generalizations. There's obviously difference in gender, culture, genetics, and lifestyle factors. So when you're thinking about your body type, just think about how you naturally are in your most natural form. So perhaps looking at childhood or early teens before lifestyle started playing a part in that. So if you're tall, with long limbs and naturally leaner, you need strength training in your life without a doubt. Although you are naturally great at long distance and any form of cardio, you will need to prioritize protein and carbohydrate intake with more weights training, lower reps, heavier weights, and less cardio, as you naturally have a fast metabolism, which will struggle to put on muscle. Lifestyle factors and neglect of health can lead to skinny fat body. So it's important for those body types, especially. If you're naturally a bit of a mix, so maybe a V shape, naturally a bit broader with a smaller waist and hold muscle mass quite well and maintain it, then you get the best of both worlds. Yet lifestyle factors will impact your ability to fully embrace what is naturally available to you. As a combination type, with structured programming and healthy nutrition choices, the world is yours, really. So lifestyle factors can lead you to go either way. So, you know, overweight, underweight, yet most of the time you'll bounce back more easily. So you have a better base. If you're broad and have a naturally solid, more proportionate build, you will benefit from higher reps volume with moderate weight and the inclusion of cardio conditioning methods. So this type of body type would naturally be better at powerlifting and builds muscle easily, but needs to ensure that they're having cleaner protein and fat sources with moderate, less refined carbohydrates. And this will work wonders for you. Lifestyle factors can lead you to experience sluggish energy levels and excess body fat gain. So whichever resonates most with you may be an indication of some changes that you could make to your training. So we focus on 4 pillars of health. So although we are training focused and we speak a lot about nutrition, mindset is really important, especially when we're looking at, you know, this type of training and what's involved and our commitment to it and why, and thinking longer term. So mindset is really important. Nutrition, because you can train, you can gain muscle, but if you want to look and feel good all round, then nutrition plays a part, and also recovery, because everything else is compromised if our recovery isn't good. So from here, if you haven't fully embraced the benefits of this training method and you struggle to get long-term results and sustain them, like you might achieve results, but then it's going back and forward, now is the best time to give it a go. There's never any better time than now. So find a coach that knows what they're doing and that can teach you to lift correctly from the get-go and to follow a proper program so that you are getting that balance all round, and trust the process and give it time to work, because it does take time. So I guess looking at your overall goal and long term, and then working back from there, whether this is something you want to do, and then just starting by committing to even like 2 or 3 sessions a week to get started, which is the minimum effective dose. And are the other things that you want to perhaps change around your behavior when it comes to exercise, or anything that plays a part as well. And then just keep building from there. It can seem boring, but that is what consistency is all about. It's about the small things that we do daily. And don't forget the lifestyle factors that can play a part. So less of the all or nothing approach and more of the increments towards just doing better each day. But that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below or to reach out and send us a message.